Could the USC Trojans be forced to leave the historic Coliseum and play their home games elsewhere? Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, Trojan family? Welcome to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Kartje. Before anyone freaks out, no, the USC Trojans are not leaving the Coliseum for good. But there's a report out there by my good friend Ryan Kartje at the LA Times that in 2028, because of the Summer Olympic Games taking place right here in Los Angeles, and part of those games, the Olympics and the Paralympics, part of those games, specifically track and field, will be using the Coliseum, and it will force potentially the Trojans to have to play their home games elsewhere. Now, I'm just going to go off this report, and then we'll kind of dissect why and where they will end up. So, according to Ryan Kartje and the LA Times, let's just say this first. I know a lot of people probably hear that and like, well, these are the Summer Olympics. The games end, at the end of August, and you still have till September when the season starts. So what's the problem here? It's not like they're going to clash. So here's the big issue. So the thing that the Olympic Committee or LA28 has to do to the Coliseum is they essentially are building a track field above the actual ground of the Coliseum. So years ago, a renovation was done at the Coliseum where they added more seats to the lower bowl, making the actual lower bowl too small to fit an Olympic-size track. So what they're going to have to do, it's $100 million. They're basically building a $100 million temporary track that's being built on top of the Coliseum field. So essentially they're going to have to put, I don't know how big they are, but large pillars every 10 feet or so at a certain elevation that will basically then build the track on those pillars that will actually cover the first 14 rows or so of the seating. So it's not as simple as, hey, they're just digging up some grass, laying some fresh dirt, and painting some lines. Like, they're actually building a substantial structure above the floor ground. It's going to not only cost $100 million, but obviously is going to take a lot of work and ingenuity to complete. So that's where kind of on the forefront, that's kind of the issue is like, okay, it's this big project happening that's going to take a lot of manpower and will take time, obviously, to tear down. They're actually going to start building it as soon as the 2027 season concludes for USC. So they'll have, 7-8 months to build it. So they should have plenty of time building it. But when the games end in the end of August, I mean, it's really a 2-week period before USC's regular season begins. So let's start there. So, I mean, there's realistically, even just that basic kind of knowledge of like, okay, they're building this pretty crazy structure here. Trying to get that done in 2 weeks, relay, sod that's safe to play on and yada, yada, yada. Like 2 weeks is a push. And so regardless, it seems like no matter what, the opening game will probably need to be played elsewhere. The question I have is, and this is what we'll probably learn more, and I'm sure what USC is trying to determine with LA28 and with whoever's building this, is really how long will this process take? Teardowns are always quicker than builds. Always. No matter what. It's always quicker. So, and here's an example to kind of compare it to. So many of you know NASCAR has hosted 2 races, the Busch Light Series at the Coliseum to kind of kick off their NASCAR season. It was held in February both years. And they built a legit, it's just a 1/4-mile track, so a tiny track, but a legit asphalt track inside the Coliseum for, their NASCAR races. For actual NASCARs to be, whipping around that thing. It took them 6 weeks to build that when they did it, laying all the asphalt, making sure it's all up to code and specifications for NASCAR and quality control and all that good stuff. They had to bring in different not scaffolding, but different like fences and protective stuff from Long Beach Grand Prix, from Auto Club Speedway out in Fontana. So, there's a lot of different moving parts for that. They were given a 2-week window to tear that thing down. So, breaking up all the asphalt, taking down all the fencing, all that, and get that done. And obviously it was the spring, so they weren't dealing with USC's fall season. But there were other events, and, I think the spring game, took place back then around after that time in March. So they had a 2-week window to tear it down and successfully did that. I'm not sitting here saying, these are obviously genius engineers that are going to be building this track and field. It looks beautiful. I've put a render up here on the screen for you to kind of be able to see. It's going to be a beautiful thing, and it's amazing to be able to host this event where it kind of began here in Los Angeles when the Olympics were here, 100 years ago. But it seems like it shouldn't take 4 months. It shouldn't take 2 months. Like, even a month feels like plenty of time to tear this thing down. If you can tear down an entire NASCAR build in 2 weeks, I would think an extra 2 weeks could get this thing done with a lot of bodies and stuff and get that out. So, the question then is like, okay, if you can't get it done to start the season, is there going to be too much, I don't want to say confusion, but too much movement to have USC play, let's say, 2 home games somewhere else and then finish the season at the Coliseum? I would say no. I mean, the Coliseum's on USC's campus. It's not like wherever they go play, it's not like they're moving their practice facility there too. They're still going to practice at Howard Jones, most likely, unless there's some other takeover by the Olympics that I don't know about at this moment. But I don't think that will change. The only difference is where the bus takes you on Saturday mornings. Is it driving a little bit farther, or are you back to just across the street to the Coliseum? So that, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. Right now, the talk is that SoFi Stadium will be the destination if they do need to move the season or move any games. Part of that comes, I think, from proximity. It is quite a bit closer. When you look at the alumni and fan base, there's a ton of USC alum and donors that live in the South Bay area, probably more so than, the only other option would be the Rose Bowl. I know people have probably already thought of that, which would be fun, seeing the Trojans in the Rose Bowl for a season, especially because I live here in Pasadena, so that'd be nice. But I think proximity SoFi makes a lot more sense in that. And then also when you look at just the realistic of sports these days, and, suites and premium seats kind of are put at the forefront. Let's just be honest. Rose Bowl has 54 suites, 1,200 premium seats. SoFi Stadium, 260 luxury suites and 13,000 premium seats. So a lot more optionality there with the high-end seating, which is very important in today's just athletics, period, whether it's college or pro. It doesn't really matter. So, yeah, that's kind of the latest on that. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, some time here to kind of work out the logistics and see USC working very closely with LA28 and the Olympic Committee in all this. And, I'm sure there's other usages for USC's campus, even during the Olympics, being right there and being so close to the Coliseum, what will be used. So I think it's awesome that the track and field is going to be there. It would be a bummer if the season is displaced and has to be moved, but it's 1 year. It could actually be kind of fun to have that 1 year in SoFi, and for those that haven't been, obviously it's a beautiful, beautiful stadium, and I think it'd be a fun experience maybe for the players to kind of get that, but know that your home is still the Coliseum where all the history resides, and just the locale of it being on campus. So we'll keep you posted on anything there, but yeah, great reporting from Ryan Kartje of what could be here in the next kind of 2 seasons. You figure 26 season, 27 season, and then 28 season will already be here. So 2 seasons away from this being a possibility. But I don't know. I still kind of think that they'll end up being able to get this thing torn down quicker than what the expectation is, just based on, I know it's not an equal comparison, but it's not like the NASCAR build was like the NASCAR build was quite an impressive, complicated engineering feat, and they were able to take that down in 2 weeks. So, this is my mind not being as smart as obviously these engineers, but it just seems like that can be done in a similar timeline. Not 2 weeks maybe, but 4, 6 weeks. I don't know why 6 months or whatever needs to be the case. Now, again, the other thing here, last thing I'll say is the NASCAR thing was in spring, and so they had a 2-week timeline to get it done, but you weren't playing collegiate live games on Saturdays yet. So whether, the sod needs to be redone, you need to make sure it's all safe playing conditions or whatnot, this will be up against the actual start of the college season. So maybe there's just that timeline pushes things too close for the health and safety of players. And, but I mean, we see these stadium, transformations so quickly and happen so often all around all these different events. And, you look at the arenas of NBA and NHL and how they'll turn games over in a day, right? There's been arenas where there's an NBA game in the afternoon or a hockey game at night, and they got to turn that thing around. So this is obviously much more complicated than that. But I just thinking little-minded that I am, it seems like it could be something that could be done quicker than what is being led on. But we'll see. We might be playing 2028 at SoFi Stadium. So I'll keep you posted here. I just wanted to get on here quick and give that little update for those that maybe haven't read the article. But if you do, check it out. I'll have the link below if you want to read up more on it from Ryan Kartje there at the LA Times. Appreciate you all, family. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you prefer if, let's just say, they're going to play somewhere else in 28 for the entire season. They don't want to go. They don't want to play 2 games away and then come back and don't want to deal with that with season ticket holders or whatnot. Do you prefer them to play at SoFi? Would you prefer them to make it the Rose Bowl and play an iconic season in the Rose Bowl, even if there are less suites and premium seats and it is farther away? But maybe you want that more historical context of playing a year there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this. How excited are you just for the Olympics? I mean, I don't know about you. I know this is a football channel, but I'm pretty fired up for the Olympics coming here in 3 years. I think that's going to be a blast and great for this city and great for us to showcase all that Los Angeles has to offer to the world. So looking forward to that. But hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back later today with more recruiting news and some more transfer portal entries, not by USC, but some interesting names that I think USC will certainly take a look at once the portal does indeed open. So I'll be back later today for that. So hit that subscribe and hit that bell so you are notified. Thank you, family. As always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers. They've got live stat updates. They've got a chat. You can chat with other users, plus the daily pick'em, which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose Jade Mayav in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USCLAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in 10, they'll match you that $10. So now you're sitting at 20 to play with. But also right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free. Go make a deposit. Use USC LAFB. And now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family. And when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB sent you.